It's a pleasure being here again, and I see some people that I recognize and lots of new faces, so that's great. But thank you all for coming in. I'm not commenting on what you're eating. Ray said, "Oh my God, I can't believe we had to order pizza," but hey, I love pizza too. So it's fine. But I am a clinical nutritionist. I work in Fairfield. I have my own practice, and I work with people one-on-one, but I also do lots of different programs, whether it's weight loss, detox, but I really do work one-on-one with people who need to heal from various health issues, medical challenges that they might have. I do sports nutrition as well. I do presentations to high school students, high school athletes, and I do presentations in my community, Westport Library, Pequot Library, Fairfield Library, as well as blog. And I'm actually consulting with a company right now, which is going to send me out onto trade shows all over the country. So I'll be back in that mode too, on the selling side, selling for a supplement company. But today I'm here to talk to you about being a weekend warrior. And just out of curiosity, could some of you just show of hands tell me who actually competes as a weekend warrior or in some event, triathlon, road races? Anybody compete here? Okay. Real solid, any bodybuilders here? I know. Where's Brian? I mean, okay. Justin. Okay. And how about some real gym rats who are there every day? Okay. Great. So I'm going to try and gear this presentation really to everyone, even if, because I think exercise should be in everybody's daily routine. And some of it's going to be basic, and some of it's going to be something maybe you're not quite as familiar with. But don't hesitate to stop me if something's very puzzling or you just can't believe I've just said that. But I am going to take questions at the end. But I'm just always happy to share my knowledge, get people working out, performing better. I think it's just a great thing. So I love what I do now, but I was in sales here for, I guess, 3 or 4 years. And I do come from a sales background, financial services in New York, prior to taking off many years and raising a family. But now I'm an empty nester with time on my hands, and I really enjoy clinical nutrition. So for the weekend warriors, the middle guy is actually one of my friends. I compete in sailing events. I'm a competitive sailor. I compete little Wednesday nights, Sunday weekends, but I've also done some big ocean-going races. It doesn't require as much nutrition, but on a 5-day ocean-going race, you're pretty dehydrated, you're pretty hungry, you're pretty dirty, you're pretty stressed. So it's a little different, but Reese is one of my sailing crew. We often race together on a 2-man boat, and we race together on a large 43-foot ocean-going boat as well. And he's a triathlete, and how he does it I don't know because he doesn't train a lot, but he's 26 years old, and so he's been working with me as a client as well. So why sports nutrition? I mean, why do we have to pull that out? Nutritional status just plays such a critical role in your performance and your overall health, as we well know. I mean, this is not new. Using sports nutrition to your advantage, you can increase your stamina, your endurance, your speed, your overall athleticism. And proper fueling and hydration are game changers. And that's what I tell my high school athletes who are competing in various sports. It can be game changing if you're prepared. So when you eat is important. What you eat, the type of fuel you choose, the type of food is very important, and the recovery time frame in which you eat and drink and rehydrate, very important. And some people, don't always consider that. Eating on a timetable. So when you eat, 2 to 3 hours is a good time to eat a pre-exercise meal. You don't want it loaded with fat, fried foods, but a good combination of protein, carbs, and fats. An hour or two before, a light snack that's really carb-based. And then up to an hour before, really nothing. You don't need anything except water. A lot of people who do compete, you find if you eat on a fairly full stomach or you haven't digested, you can get some gastric distress. But eating during exercise, again, you may not need it, depending on the type of exercise that you do. But should you need it, it's nice to have some juicy grapes, oranges, something that's natural fruit, possibly some pretzels if needed, and keep drinking, keep drinking. And we'll talk about sports drinks in a moment, but always drinking. And then post-exercise is that recovery period in which your muscles are primed to receive the proper nutrition. So your fuel, what are they? The macronutrients, your carbs, your proteins, and your fats. The micronutrients, which we all need, vitamins and minerals contained within what you eat and drink, water, of course, and then the ratio. I'm going to keep saying this ratio, and it's subject to change. And for some people, depending on their sport, it's going to change as well. But generally speaking, as a fairly active athlete who may not be competing or bodybuilding, where muscle mass is not as important, a 60-20-20 ratio is pretty good to think about. You can change your carbs a little bit, add a little more protein, but you always want to keep fat in your diet. You absolutely have to keep fat in your diet. So your recovery period, very important. Recovery allows you to repair your muscles, because when you exercise, you stress your body, you stress your muscles, you tear muscle fibers. You need to rebuild those along with your ligaments, your tendons, and your cartilage. And you also build muscle because the stimulation of your muscles with exercise builds more muscle cells. Your body has more or less evolved to have a 1 hour kind of open window in which you can replace the lost carbs, or actually the lost sugar or glycogen, because glycogen is the form of carbohydrate that's stored in your liver and in your muscles. And again, recovery time, that carb to protein ratio, 4-to-1, although it's subject to change, and we're going to talk about some of the newer research in sports nutrition. Best foods, carbs, protein, and fat. Even if you ate a meal, that would be great. Apple with nut butter. For my high school kids, I say chocolate milk. It's a great recovery food. Yogurt, whole grains, lots of vegetables. Vegetables, just, you can eat vegetables as much as you want. And again, always rehydrate. And then sleep. Some of us forget that sleep is so important. Sleep is the time frame in which your body and your brain more or less gets reset. It's a time in which your body is in repair mode, both your body, your muscles, and your brain. For your brain, it won't go into kind of cleanup mode until you get into a deep REM sleep. But it's essential because sleep will uncover kind of the stress, actually manage the stress that you felt during that day. It does a lot. So don't lose sleep. It's really one of the best things you could be doing for your body and your brain. Shaping a high-performing plan. Carbs are not equal. You've got vegetables, you have fruits, you've got grains, then you've got refined carbs like sugar, you've got chips. So you've got a whole array of different kinds of carbs, but you need to know that carbs are the vegetables and fruits that we must rely on. Proteins are not equal either. Some are a little more filled with fat, saturated fat, a sausage versus a piece of flounder. Lots of difference in fat. Whey protein is probably one of the cleanest proteins out there. So is an egg, for instance. Fats are not created equal either. That's a big one. We think that fats like vegetable oil that we can buy off the shelf would be okay, but it's really not. I mean, you want to be eating fats that have been cold pressed. They're a healthier version, not as many free radicals, it's not rancid. Cold pressed, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, cold pressed. No heat or chemicals have been applied to extract that fat. Again, get rid of the sugar. Get rid of the sugar. We'll talk about that more. I'm going to tell you to break up with sugar. Muscles are fueled by carbs, not protein. Remember that. Muscles are fueled by carbs and not protein. The fuel for your muscles come from carbohydrates, sugars, and fats, not protein. Protein is broken down into amino acids used to build muscle, build tissues, but it's not generally used as a fuel. It is sometimes, but not generally. So look at whole foods, eat the variety of the color of the rainbows, and always stay hydrated. If you're going to invest in your body and go work out, invest in the foods you put in it too. So all about the carbs. When you eat food, non-fat, even protein, your carbs will break down into glucose. They circulate through your body and your muscles pick it up. They form larger molecules of glucose. It's called glycogen. So your muscles will store, I'm trying to think how many hours, let's say 13 hours worth of energy if you were just resting. Your liver has some as well. And the carbs has lots of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. What about the fat? We're going to talk about the fat in terms of as fuel. Protein adds structure. It delivers the essential amino acids needed to synthesize and build tissue, including your muscles. It's a component of all the enzymes, hormones, and organs in your body. None of the chemical reactions that go on in the mitochondria that give you the energy to move can be made without the amino acids from protein. So protein is an essential nutrient. Functions in fluid balance. It functions in delivering all sorts of chemicals throughout our body. You can get protein from plant and animal sources. The amino acid, it's a branched chain amino acid, leucine. I'm sure a lot of the bodybuilders know all about leucine and the branched chain amino acids. They all come from the food we eat. Plant foods may not have the full profile of amino acids, but certainly animal meat does. But eating more protein does not necessarily mean you're going to get more muscle. How much do you need? I threw this number out, 1.7. I mean, basically, you don't want more if you're bodybuilding. You're not going to want more than 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight daily. A woman like me, you know, I don't even know if I'm sort of more on the petite side. I only need about 50 grams of protein. If you're 200 pounds, you're going to need upwards of 80 grams. If you are exercising, if your workout is really intense, you're going to need more. I can't tell you exactly what you're going to need. That's something that you should be researching, given your body weight, your activity intensity level, and your sport, and also age and gender. So you maintain your endurance, a healthy skin, healthy hair with fats. You can't cut fats out. This whole low-fat thing, and it's kind of gotten a lot of people into trouble with obesity because we then turn to more carbs, refined carbs, as opposed to fat. But fat composes a huge part of our bodies and our brain. Our brain is 60% fat. Every nerve that runs through our body is covered in a myelin sheath, which is made out of fat. You need fat for our hormones. You need fat for, to deliver fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, vitamin E, and K, very important vitamins. And fat does supply. When we're sitting here, our body's using fat as a fuel when we're just sitting here quietly. The key is, can we really use fat to fuel our intense workouts? And that's what we're going to also talk about. But fats provide satiety. So in the morning, if you have a little bit of fat with your breakfast, you can go longer before you get hungry. Essential component of hormones. And the best fats, again, I'm going to go over it, cold pressed fats, olive oil, butter, particularly from grass-fed animals, coconut oil, avocado oil, and nut oils. And again, what oils you choose depends on what you're doing with it. If you're cooking at a high temperature or stir fry, go with coconut or avocado. They can withstand high temperatures without developing free radicals, without more or less, because oils are fragile. Oils are very fragile. Exposed to air, like olive oil, it breaks down into rancid particles, those reactive species, free radicals. So again, best fats, if you're cooking, highest temperature coconut, next temperature avocado, butter is fine. Olive oil, when you're sauteing vegetables, is great. The minute you really apply high heat, you are damaging the oil and taking away some of the health benefits of a nice oil like an olive oil. Nut oils, reserved for cold. Never heat those up. I'm not a big canola fan. A lot of people think that canola is healthy. If you want to use canola, which you can use at high heat, get the kind that's cold pressed. When I talk about the other vegetable oils that are industrially processed, they're heated. Benzene is often added to them, and flavorings to cover up any rancidity is added before the vegetable oil leaves the plant. And I'm not making this up. So choose those cold pressed oils. So again, I hate to say this, but we all love French fries, but you think of that vat of vegetable oil that has been continually reheated. They don't change that every time they make you a batch of French fries. It's reheated. I mean, that oil is probably pretty rancid. So just think about that when you eat your French fries. Don't eat as many of them. I'm not saying don't eat them because they are good. Vitamins and minerals. I know this is, a primer for some of you. Found in both plant and animal-based foods. It's essential in our biochemistry and our metabolism. It offers amazing antioxidant, anti-inflammatory benefits. And best to obtain this from foods as opposed to supplements, a multivitamin. Eat your way to health as opposed to supplement your way to health. And deficiency can lead to some chronic disease. If you're stressed, you use up B vitamins and magnesium so quickly you don't have any left. Vitamin D, many of us are deficient in vitamin D, and research is showing that vitamin D contributes to so many, it has so many helpful benefits and can help decrease things like cancer, bone health it's great for. So vitamin D, it's probably always a good idea to get a vitamin D check with your doctor the next time you have a blood test. And vitamin B12 is a great vitamin that we all need, and as we get older, we have a reduced ability to absorb it in our stomach. It's a huge molecule compared to any other vitamin out there. And then the minerals, of course, is what helps us function, and it moves everything. It creates that electrical current that goes down through our nervous system, because electrolytes are ions in solution. They have an electrical charge, positive or negative. So break up with sugar. I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm an athlete, I burn a lot of calories, I can eat a dessert. Sure, you can eat a dessert, your body can handle it, it's not going to show on you from the outside, but there's just nothing good about sugar. Your vegetables will break down into the glucose that your body needs. The whole grains will break down into the glucose that your body needs. Sugar just becomes a buzz. It's highly addictive. Rats in a lab situation actually prefer sugar over cocaine. And MRI studies show that when you eat a milkshake, it's not the fat that your body gets all excited about. It's definitely the sugar. It lights up parts of your brain. They say it's so addictive, it's almost scary. And that an addiction to sugar, which I bet 99.9% of us have in this room, and we have cravings. So when I do my weight loss groups, I say what we're doing is a sugar rehab. I mean, you think this is a weight loss group. No, it's a sugar rehab, because it's the sugar that's in 75% of processed foods that get us into trouble. And you don't need it to have a good workout. And you shouldn't reward yourself. So, all right, so sugar, break up. And some foods are just better. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains with the fiber, nuts, seeds, beans with fat and protein profiles, lean meats, poultry, fish, and eggs, some dairy products. Really good yogurt that has live bacteria in it is exceptional. It's got whey in it, it's great. It's a probiotic, it helps with so many, it helps your immune system, it helps with your microbiome, establishing a very balanced gut. And then minimally processed foods, like a whey protein. I mean, a powdered whey, that's a processed food. Poor nutritional value. Choose less of these. Processed or refined food, foods containing sugar. And sugar is in salad dressing, sugar's in mustard, sugar's in so many things. Read the labels if you're picking up food in packages. Foods with added saturated or trans fats. Trans fats are coming out of our food, but there's still a lot of saturated fat. Refined grains, high-fat meats, sausages, salamis, deli meats. Try to choose roasted meats for your sandwiches if you're eating sandwiches. Soda, alcohol, candy, and dessert. It doesn't really require too much comment. So what's a portion? Sorry, the guy's eating pizza. 3 ounces of cooked meat, chicken or fish, like the size of your palm or a deck of cards. That's a portion. That's a normal portion. If you're a big man who's doing bodylifting, you may have more than one portion of protein, obviously. I can't tell you what that's going to be. You may have to research what's adequate for your weight, your gender, your age, and your activity. a half a cup of veggies or fruit, cooked or raw. Always try to do a combination in a given day. A cup of cereal, pasta, rice, quinoa, a slice of whole grain bread or a pancake, a ping pong size of nut butter. And nut butter is great. It's got good fat, good protein. A teaspoon of fat, oil, butter, postage stamp size, an ounce of cheese, 4 dice, an ounce of nuts or seeds, which basically kind of fills the center of your palm. So just look at this for a moment. It gives you a better idea. But as Americans, we eat huge portions. And we're so used to it, we don't think about it. There's a great professor out of Cornell, Brian Wansink, who's done incredible research. Put your food on a smaller plate. Use a smaller glass. Put your food away once you serve it to yourself. Don't serve it buffet style. Try to do tricks that will help you not overeat. So wrap your food up once you've got your portions and put it away in the back of your refrigerator so you're not as tempted to have to go through the process of unwrapping it. Go brush your teeth after you've eaten. Try to get the mouth flavors out. All right, so going to hydration, really important to replace those electrolytes. As I said, they're just they're necessary for our metabolism and for the transmission of nerve impulses. Dehydration will cause fatigue, will cause you to lose focus. You'll just stop exercising once you reach the point of dehydration. We have very poor thirst signals, so we don't always know that we're thirsty until dehydration has really set in. An afternoon, if you're at work all day, you're feeling tired, before you reach for the candy bar or the pretzels or the snack or the cookies, go have a glass of cold water and see if that doesn't give you a little bit of energy. So, rehydration is so essential for recovery because it replenishes those electrolytes. And what I should tell you, for someone, if you go in to the gym and exercise or you compete, weigh yourself without clothes before you go. Then weigh yourself after you've sweated, and you'll know how much fluid and weight you need to have before you go in to work out. And you've started to drink. Use your phone. I tell my high school athletes, they're just not used to drinking. Their coaches are always saying, drink, drink, drink. It's really, put an alarm on your phone if you're working out so you know. Carry your water bottle with you. So what to drink? Water's best if it's under 60 minutes and it's, average intensity. If you're really intense exercise, you might need a little bit more. But another gauge is if you want to drink half your weight in ounces per day if you were just undergoing normal activity. So if you weighed 100 pounds, you'd want 50 ounces. What is that? Six glasses or so. If you weigh 200 pounds. And liquid water comes from tea, coffee, our vegetables, our fruits. Juices are just filled with water, so I'm not going to suggest those. Coconut water, I know many of you heard about coconut water, about fountain of youth. Well, not quite, but it does supply electrolytes. It's low calorie. It has lots of minerals, and then it's got these things called cytokinins in them. Cytokinins are just chemicals that are natural chemicals that we actually make too, but the coconut has. Anti-aging, anti-cancer, anti-thrombolytic, decreases our blood pressure and risk of kidney stones. Oh, I spelled that wrong. It's a good drink to have as a good sports drink. It truly is a good sports drink. So let's talk about sports drinks. Sugar at the top of the list. You read the ingredients, it's high fructose corn syrup, and then industrially produced sugar, no less. There's empty calories in this, and the nutrition varies. It's processed, it's expensive. I don't like drinking blue water, but some people do. It's got artificial sugars in it. It's got chemicals and caffeine. Drink a cup of coffee. It's one of the best performance enhancers out there. Or a cup of tea. Natural enhancers with antioxidants. Don't drink it in a Gatorade. It's got those artificial colors. Make your own. Make your own with water, coconut juice. Make your own with just water, a pinch of Himalaya pink salt with lots of minerals in it, a little pinch of sugar, and then every day you add freshly squeezed lemons, limes, oranges, where you're getting all those antioxidants when you squeeze that fruit in. Vitamin C to support your immune system instead of the fake stuff, the supplemented. Okay, so I really hate sports drinks, I'm sorry. Alcohol, we all like alcohol. It's not a nutrient. It has calories. It brings great fun and it tastes great, but it's not a sports or brain performance enhancer. It is dehydrating. We all know that. That's not a mystery. But what we probably don't know is that alcohol negatively impacts muscle recovery and glycogen storage. So when you've finished at the gym or your race and you go to the bar and you're having your whatever, French fries and hamburger and your beer, just know that your body's not able to do as good a job to replenish that glycogen. And the glycogen, what's so necessary about the glycogen is it helps you work out the next day and 2 days later. So what you eat today impacts tomorrow too, and 2 days later. So, drink, I guess, in moderation, smartly. So fit body, fit brain. It's kind of a partner deal. Your brain's going to take any fuel first. We've just evolved that way. Your brain uses glucose. Your brain can use ketones, which some of you know is when fat breaks down. It can use ketones. It'll cross the blood-brain barrier. But glucose is first. So it's going to take the glucose first before it gives it to your muscles. Your mental skills are enhanced with proper nutrition, sleep, and fluids. You need cognitive function, good cognitive function when you're exercising, when you're competing. You can't go without it. Good brain foods, salmon, berries, whole grains, eggs, all sorts of vegetables, beans, nuts, Greek yogurt. So you feed your body, you feed your brain, and it increases your performance. Supplements, the ergogenic aids. I did buy a couple magazines, and I really actually like them. I think they have some good nutrition articles. The body building ones I couldn't buy, but I liked this for some of the articles. I liked Men's Fitness, good articles, good recipes as well. Same thing with Men's Health. I think that they were all on target. And what's the other one? There's another one that I thought was pretty good too. Really on target with giving you good advice on nutrition. But these types of ads do appear in a lot of the magazines, and they're seductive. They're seductive if it's a man. They're seductive if it's a very fit, athletic, slender female. We want to say, and I think that when we're athletes or when we're trying to lose weight, we are targets for the supplement industry. They know that we're just suckers for all of it, and we're going to pay money for it. And what I'm going to say to you is you can get exactly what's in that jar, in that bottle, from the food that you're going to eat, and it's going to be cheaper. This is convenient, but it comes at an added cost. You don't know what all the ingredients are. There's just not a lot of scientific evidence to back a lot of the claims that they make, and it's marketed. Again, it's marketed to make you think that you're going to look like this guy or that gal if you take that product. And we all think we're all above that, but you have no idea what's going on, in your head more subconsciously. But, it's an unregulated industry, and I do, sell supplements. I do use supplements. I think there's a place for it. I eat so well, I would never take a multivitamin. That's just a waste, in my opinion. But it is an unregulated industry. The FDA only gets involved when there are multiple reports of injury. And even then, it's so hard to find some of these manufacturers, let alone, it's what's in the pill, but where did the raw materials come from? Oftentimes, the raw materials are coming from China. I hate to, be down on China's material and sourcing, but you don't know. It's not tested as rigorously. And does the manufacturer that's just in a little tiny warehouse in New Jersey or Florida or Utah, are they really putting in what they say is being put in? The Attorney General last year in New York went to Target, GNC, CVS, Walgreens, or whatever, and tested all these supplements. Do you know that 80% of the supplements that they tested did not contain what was said in the bottle? That's pretty scary, and you don't even have the FDA testing. So you want, if you're going to buy supplements, you really want to look at the label, and you want to do a little research here. This is your body. This is your body that you're buying expensive supplements and putting into your body to look better, feel better, all the rest. You want to look at who's is there any compliance? Is it recommended? There is for sports products. There is an agency, and I've forgotten the name of it, and it's to make sure there's no. So it gets a free. I guess it clears, so there's no banned substances in that product. You need to know about that. You need to choose supplements wisely. And research the supplements. And again, I don't mean to be down on GNC employees, but they don't generally have a degree in nutrition or chemistry. They're trying to sell product. Sometimes your personal trainer is selling product. What is your personal, does your personal trainer really know? Okay, maybe your personal trainer uses it and he or she looks great, but there are very questionable ingredients in some of these products. So, there's no magic bullet, buyer beware. And you can get the same amino acids from eating animal protein, and many of them from eating plant protein. And you can supplement. I was going to say leucine. I do have leucine. This is just leucine powder. It's just one branched chain amino acid, and it is the amino acid for building muscle. And for older people, it's absolutely critical. For people who are older, if they exercise and take a supplement or take something with leucine, they actually will build muscle. Younger people don't get as much benefit from taking additional leucine, but you can get, again, branched chain amino acids from your food. You don't necessarily need to supplement, and you can get them alone without all the other added ingredients. But again, you need to know that exercise stimulates muscle growth. And that, the best enhancing aids really are food and water. I read sometimes where coffee, tea can be incredible enhancers. So research-based supplements, branched chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, they repair and synthesize muscle. Get it in your food, but if you truly believe you need more, and some people do need more, if they're into the muscle building, they may want to look at additional supplementation. D-ribose, that's a sugar that's in our RNA, used for hereditary material. They have found that D-ribose can support cardiovascular health, increases energy levels through additional ATP synthesis. Carnitine, it spares glycogen breakdown. Creatine, alkaline, enhances ATP levels and endurance. Whey protein. Whey protein is just, I think it's great. If you need something for convenience, buy whey protein, buy a really good form of whey protein. It can be a concentrate, it can be an isolate, there's differences between them, but add this to a smoothie, add this to a drink, not the whole other thing. And just as an example, I brought you this is kind of my lunch because I didn't have time to make anything and I've got to run to a client meeting right after this. So this has whey protein in it, but it's got lots of vegetables. The only sugar that's in there is from the frozen raspberries that I put in this. And I carry it around in a jar like this because the lid kind of keeps it from going on to anything else. And this will keep, but it's very vegetable based with that whey protein, some yogurt, ginger, turmeric, anti-inflammatory spices. The whole root I threw in there. Here's, coconut oil. If you haven't tried it, try it. And I find that, some people really like the taste of coconut. Some people hate it. But after you've been using it for a while, you don't even taste the coconut anymore. So whey protein, I really do like it. It's a great thing for weight loss as well. Coconut oil, MCT, medium chain fatty acids, ketones, quick energy, you can eat. For some endurance runners, just having a teaspoon of coconut oil, it's shunted immediately to your liver, and you get instant energy very, very quickly. Same thing with the whey powder. We have a slide on whey powder, but beta-alanine improves strength, endurance, and recovery, and then of course caffeine. And then there's carb loading. That's always an enhancer as well. Supplements for pain, health, and inflammation. As you get older and you're doing some repetitive exercise, you may have some issues. You may get injured. You may fall. What do you use? Again, look for quality labels. Don't take high doses. Looking at vitamin D, B12, C, and K2, those are really good things to know that you're always having, whether you're eating them or you need to supplement with them. The minerals, magnesium and calcium, sometimes we just can't get enough from our food. So if you're very stressed, you're working out a lot, and when you work out a lot, you stress your body. You might need some additional magnesium and calcium. Omega fatty acids, great anti-inflammatory, but they're just a great fatty acid needed in so many functions in our body. Probiotic, we want to maintain a really good balanced gut. And by feeding our system with the good bacteria, we can do that. Curcumin and ginger for inflammation. Boswellia, bromelain. Bromelain comes from pineapple. White willow leaf for pain. Homeopathic arnica. You injure yourself, you take a 200 C of homeopathic medicine. Or you wake up like me with a backache, and that's just crippling, you take arnica. And then there's MSM, proteolytic enzymes, glucosamine and chondroitin, hyaluronic acid for inflammation and for your joints. Those have a lot of research backing the use of these types of supplements as opposed to some of the ergogenic. So the way it is, the perfect sports nutrition food as well. It's convenient, it tastes good. The concentrate has a little more fat, a little more lactose in it, a little more carb in it than the isolate. The isolate is sort of stripped of everything. It's pure protein. I'm going to say, try to get away from cows that have been fed on, out in the pasture, out on grass. It's a lot healthier, if it's organic. It digests very quickly in your stomach, and you get to use it. It improves your insulin sensitivity. Oh, going back to sugar and foods with sugar. What you're trying to avoid are those insulin spikes. They think that insulin spikes really do contribute to chronic disease. Leucine is in whey. Whey just has a great amino acid profile. And studies show that when amino acids in whey, it can activate cellular mechanisms that promotes muscle synthesis, thyroid function, and prevents declining testosterone levels after exercise. It can boost metabolism. It's generally lactose-free, and it goes seamlessly into drinks. You can just put it into water and drink it, and you'll be fine. So here's some of the new thinking in sports nutrition about possibly fasting. Getting up in the morning and just going right out the door and exercising. I don't think I could do it, but there are people that do. And Dr. Mercola, who many of you, I follow Dr. Mercola on Facebook. It might seem alternative to you, but he's got some good viewpoints and ideas. This is something that I picked up, but online, Dr. Mercola, he's very interesting. But he's really saying this is the way to go. Try to get your body, to go into fasting mode before it starts using the glycogen, and it stimulates brain cells and muscle cells to be synthesized. I can't test it out, but you may be hearing more about that. And Gretchen Reynolds, who writes for the New York Times, follow her on your Facebook page as well. She comes up with great articles on exercise. It's pretty interesting. So the benefits of fasting before high intense activity, HIIT, burn more fat, grow new neurons and muscle cells, boost your growth hormone, improve body composition, boost cognitive function, improve insulin sensitivity, boost testosterone, and prevent depression. It sounds almost too good to be true, but I can't say, but you're going to be hearing more about this. So fat chance, should athletes eat fat or carbs for fuel? This is another topic, that Dr. Mercola truly believes that we need, as athletes, to switch from using glycogen, glucose essentially, to fat. How do you do that? Eating healthy foods containing fat. Possibly that ratio of 60% carbs, 20% protein, 20% fat. You're going to switch that up. You're going to change that. And then protein power, eat more protein to synthesize more muscle and weight, lose weight. They're saying when you lose weight, if you're trying to lose weight and you're exercising, what happens generally is you lose muscle mass along with the weight. It happens. New studies have come out to say that if you up your protein intake, you won't lose the muscle mass, you'll just lose the fat. So that's another area that's going to be bubbling up in terms of doing that. So just know that whenever you try to lose weight, you're losing muscle mass. Keep going to the gym. Keep going to the gym. What if you want to lose weight? You know, some whey powder. You really dial back on what you eat. You are choosing healthier foods. I'm not going to tell you not to eat fat. You need to have fat. Choose the healthy fats. You know, stay away from sugar. Make sure that your microbiome is in balance. Gain weight, same thing. You just add more calories. You add maybe perhaps more protein, more fat. Build muscle, well, you try clean protein to do that. Some additional branched chain amino acids. So parting thoughts. You know, athletes must ensure that their metabolic needs are managed in such a way that performance is optimized. And there's just so much misinformation out there. You know, we get it from everywhere. I mean, every fitness professional claims to have an expertise in nutrition and what you should eat. You've got to eat what you like, what works for you, and experiment. Try new things as well. So try different strategies to keep up with the whole food and, you know, break up with sugar. And keep in mind that most of us eat the same 15 foods every day, every week. You know, try to get away from that and eat more variety, particularly when it comes to vegetables. Mix it up and see if you feel any better, less sluggish, less tired. So I do have some resources. I'm going to be sending this. Oh, I forgot to do this. If you wouldn't mind, if you'd like to get the PDF, please give me your name and email, and I will send you the PDF of the PowerPoint for you. I may be adding some more resources to it. Well, Ray's going to have my email as well, so if there are some questions that you don't want to ask me here and it comes up later, let me know. I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.